Today we're going to look at two methods for creating a wet can effect in Canva. The first method is going to be when we have the can but not the wet effect, and the second method is going to be when we have the picture to go on a can and we want the can ultimately to look wet. So for this first one here, when we already have the can, I'm going to go to Elements, and then I'm going to go to Photos, and I'll type in condensation on window. I'll take a picture like this one here and put that onto the canvas. Now the next thing I want to do before going any further is to go back to Elements again, and under Photos I'm just going to change this orientation to square. So now all of the photos that come up here are square like this canvas, and I'm going to go just for any picture, we'll go for this one. Now go down to Apps and we'll type in Image Cutout Maker. Choose this one here. And now because this image is selected, it's come up as the background. And then we'll just move that to the side slightly, and we'll go down to the bottom here and click on Image. And then we'll click on the can and say Use Selected Image. Back up the top here, we'll take the can, make it a bit smaller, and then click the center button. And now we can go down and say Add to Design. So we've now got this cutout, and what we can do is we'll change the background of the whole canvas to a pink color. And then we'll click on this cutout here and go to Edit, go down to Effects and to Duotone, go to Custom, and we'll change these colors to white, and that gets rid of the photo that we've got around the can. We can now delete this image and go back to these two. So now we can go back to Apps, and this time I'm going to type in Blend Image. We'll select this one here, and then I'm going to click on the can and choose that as my bottom layer, so Use Selected Image. Then I'm going to click on the condensation and say Use Selected Image as the top layer. Make sure it's set to multiply mode and say Add to Design. Now we can get rid of the condensation. We can put this image alongside the original can here, and we can go to Edit and Adjust, and we may just want to turn up the brightness a little bit, and then go to the bottom and turn up the saturation just to make the can a little bit brighter again, maybe a bit on the vibrance too. Now we can delete this original can and place this one in the center of the image, and take this cutout, go to Position and Layers, and make sure the cutout is in front of the can. Now we can enlarge this across the whole page, and then click on the can, and then we can enlarge this until it fits perfectly behind that cutout. Now we'll save this image, so Share, Download, save as a PNG. Make sure that you've just got the correct page selected, so for me that's page 1, and click Done and Download. Now we can delete everything that we have here and upload that new image. And now I can click on it and say Remove Background, and then we can enlarge it a bit. Go to Elements, go back and just type in Shadow, go to Graphics, choose the shadow that you want, so I'll go for this one, put that at the bottom of the can and resize. Click on the can and go to Position and make sure it's in front of the shadow. And there you have your first image of the wet can. So in the second method, let's imagine that we already have the label that we want to go onto a can, but we want to put it onto a wet can. So under Elements, we'll type in Wet Can and go to Graphics, See All, and I'm going to choose this one here. And then again, we can find ourselves a photo. So go to Photos, and then we'll change the orientation to square. choose any photo, we'll go for this one. Go to Apps, type in Image Cutout Maker, go back to the app, make sure this image is selected and say Use Selected Image. So that's now the background. Scroll down, go to Image here for Cutout Type, select the can and say Use Selected Image. Again, move the can to the middle, we'll make it slightly smaller and just click the center button here and then add that to the design. We can now delete the background picture, but we'll keep the can here. And again, we'll change the background to pink just so that everything shows up. And with this cutout image, we'll go to Edit, go down to Effects and along to Duotone, click Custom and change both colors to white. Now we can go back to Apps again and we'll type in Blend Image. Go back to this app here. Now we'll clear the selection because we've still got the last one up. For the bottom layer, this time we want the can, so we'll click on that and say Use Selected Image. For the top layer, we want the label, so Use Selected Image. And you can see how it's going to come out here, so we'll add that to the design. Make sure it's on multiply mode. Now we can delete these two images. And again, we'll make sure this cutout is at the front. And we'll make sure that this can is perhaps a little bit bigger, put it in the middle, and then bring the cutout across. Make sure you've got the can selected here and increase the size. Now we need to go to Share, Download, make sure that we've got page 2 selected and click Download. Now going back to this first image here, I put this can to the side and I'm now going to pull this one in. We can then remove the background, and if we go to Position, get the shadow and duplicate that. Now just make sure this second can is in front of the shadow too. So take it and just bring it to the front. And there we have our two different methods for getting a wet can in Canva. I hope this tutorial has been helpful for you today. Please do subscribe to the channel to learn more about Canva.